Alright guys, this is Kyrus. Just pretty much bringing y'all an updated video on the TT. Um, Basically, since the last video, I've changed the wheels. I already had these wheels and tires. They were just on the A4. So I took the other ones off and put these on here 3 days ago. Just because this is a 235/35 and the other ones were, I think, a 235/30 or something like that. I don't know. Basically, these have more tire wall than the other ones, so I thought that maybe these would help a little bit with the wheel spin. Not by much, of course, and not like performance tires or anything like that. But just for the time being, until I get a new wheel and tire sets. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Well, when I put them on, actually, since these have more tire wall, since I've made the last video, I've lowered the car fully. So it's completely lowered in the back, completely lowered in the front. So now it's almost impossible to drive. It rubs way too much. So I'm going to be fixing that today, actually. I just came from ATO Auto Sports and got some hub-centric rings. When I went to go put these on, I realized that I had lost 3 of them, so I only have 1 of them, and I think this is the only one with the hub-centric ring on it. So I bought a whole pack of new ones. Also, the same day I put the tires on, I took it out to maybe see if it helps with the wheel spin. Before I was able to run it, at the car meet, one of the lifted trucks backed into this car. Apparently, he said he couldn't see it behind him, so he backed into it. Dented the hood up pretty bad here. It doesn't sit right at all. There's like this huge gap now, as you guys can see. And also with the fender, not the fender, the grill, push it in pretty good here. So I'm going to have all new parts come in maybe this week or next week. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with a carbon fiber hood. I found one for about $1,200, or if I'm going to go with the OEM TTRS hood, which I was able to find locally for $400 already painted. So I may go with that one. I may go with the carbon fiber. I'm not sure. As far as that little front grill piece here, I have it. It's in the front seat. It came out when it got hit, but that's easy fix. It just kind of just snaps right back into place. And for the wheels, to show you, there's 20mm spacers in the front and 13mm spacers in the rear. I don't know if I had these on in the last video, but that's probably why they're rubbing now. It didn't rub before with the other wheels because it was a lot less sidewall, but I have 2 options in this case. I could either race the car or I could remove the spacers, so I'm going to have to figure out which one I'm going to do. Right now I have everything out to fix everything. These are the hub-centric rings. This is what they look like. It basically just makes the wheel fit perfectly to the hub. This is the receipt. They were only $22, so not too pricey. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So this week sometime the hood will be getting replaced and the grill will be getting replaced, and then also in 2 weeks I have an appointment at NGP, New German Performance. They're the guys that do all my performance upgrades. Them and RAI, those are the only 2 shops I use. But basically I'm getting a new intake manifold, which should give me about 40 pounds of torque, and then also about maybe 20 to 25 more horsepower to the wheels. And then that's pretty much going to be it. So I guess what I'll go ahead and start doing is pulling off these wheels and seeing how far they sit inward. If I don't like how far they sit inward from after I remove the spacers, then I'll just lift the car up and then I'll let you guys see how that looks. Alright, so I got the tire off. As you can see, there's no ring in here. The hub is actually bigger than the hub thing here. So basically these rings allow it to fit perfectly. They make the wheels like this, that way they're like universally fit, so they can pretty much go on any car. But pretty much you take the ring, it goes on here, and as you can see, if I was to put it in here, it fits perfectly. so that way there would be no vibration or anything like that when I'm going around, like, 60-70 miles per hour. So now I'm faced with the decision on removing the spacer, which is disgusting in here, removing the spacer or raising the height of the car. So I think for right now I'm going to go with just removing the spacer and seeing how far it sets inside the car. If I don't like it, then I'll put the spacer back on here and just raise the car. But raising the car would consist of me removing this, which is a lot more work than just removing the spacer. So I'll go ahead and get to that. Alright, so I got the spacer off. Had to use the shorter lug nuts because I don't have a spacer, so no need for the longer ones. Now I've moved over to the front and removed the front wheel off. This is the spacer, 20mm that was on the front. I really did like the way it looked, but it's not drivable anymore, not with these bigger tires. So this is kind of how it looks. You can't really tell until I put it down, so I guess I'll put it down and then let you guys see how it looks after that. But yeah, this is the 20mm spacer, and yeah. Alright, so I got the 13mm spacer off of the rear. This is how it looks. It's kind of hard to see how it's actually going to look until I put it down. So once I get everything situated, I'll give you guys another look at it. But over here to the front, I removed the 20mm spacer, which is this one here, and I'm going to replace it with the one I had in the rear, which is the 13mm spacer. So the front rubs a little bit, so I know that if I just swap it out with the smaller spacer, it wouldn't rub, or rub nearly as much. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and then move on with the process. Alright, so I finally got the spacers from the rear up front and no spacers in the back. So now what I'm going to do is take it for a little spin around the block to kind of see if that helped with the rubbing and stuff like that. Alright, here goes nothing. Alright, those of you who watched the last video, you guys know that it's going to throw a ton of codes, but it's just because I changed the lighting from the base TT lighting to the TTRS headlights and rear lights. So yeah, it just doesn't recognize it, that's all. So basically, I'm just going to take it around the block and just kind of see if it rubs or anything like that. Hopefully it doesn't. I do not feel like taking these tires off again. Hasn't rubbed yet. Normally it does. Rubbing yet at all. Haven't heard that in a while. A little bit of rub on the extreme braking, but that's expected. Sorry about that, guys. Someone gave me a call, but it doesn't look too bad. The front still looks nice. The rear is a little bit more tucked in, but it's not too bad. It's kind of a trade-off, but I am going to get new wheels, and eventually I'm going to get over fenders also. So they're going to do some cutting here, and once it's done, it'll look really nice. But it's a work in progress. Appreciate you guys for watching, though.